Most podcasts happen in studios. This one happens on the job. I'm Cole Trachis. This is Through the Glass, where we sit down with people not just to talk about what they do, but who they are. Today's guest is my friend Trace Walters from Walters Renovations, a young builder who's already making serious moves. It's just 2 years. He's built a full design to build remodeling company with 6-people team, taking projects from concept all the way to fully finished projects. What's cool about Trace is he's not just doing interior remodels, he's creating complete transformations, including landscapes and pools, and turning properties into something totally new. He's young, he's ambitious, and he's building something really cool. And today, we're going to talk about what it's like starting a business early, the reality behind the work, and who he is outside of the job site. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Trace.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Stoked to be here. Well, I guess it's my office. So
Yeah, we came to you
stoked
today.
that you're here.
Yeah. I'm glad that we could come and hang out, and thanks for inviting us to the space.
Of course.
Well, dude, before starting Walters Renovations, what did life look like for you? What were you doing? Where was your head at? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I guess just tell the story, I guess.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So went to GCU. That's kind of how we know each other,
Yeah.
of each other, and a lot of other guys around in the friend group. GCU, graduated high school, went to GCU, and I was originally going to be in like venture capital. I was doing due diligence on like startups. I worked with Trinity Capital.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was working with companies that they were funding or they were raising money, and other venture capital firms. And I always kind of had the entrepreneur itch. I thought I was going to start an app. I was working on this like social media Robinhood trading app. And while I was doing that, graduated college. It was like right after senior year. And during college, me and a buddy bought a house across the street at GCU, the skate house.
Nice.
And I just started like YouTubing and like fixing things up. We were renting out the rooms to our buddies. And
You guys bought the house together?
yeah, me and a buddy,
Sweet.
Jacob, he was a realtor. I was like, I can fix things. He did like the paperwork, the lease agreements. And I was in there with the tools and, doing little upgrades or whatever, painting and minor stuff. And I always kind of I was always kind of a builder, like as a kid, because I was a skateboarder. So I was always building like ramps and built like this huge half pipe when I was like 13 in my backyard. My dad helped me. And so I was always kind of building, and I loved Minecraft. I mean, yeah, I was stoked on Minecraft. I would just brain rot Minecraft for like hours as a kid, especially in the summer when there's no school.
Let's go.
And so I always kind of had that, like, I guess, creative building kind of engineer brain. Like those things just made sense to me. So now that I'm working on this house, doing this job that's like very white collar and like all this stuff, just realizing that I'm like, it's driving me crazy sitting at a desk and doing Excel and like reviewing market size and like all this stuff. So it just drove me kind of crazy. And I couldn't wait to get done with this internship so I could like go home and work on the house and like change a window or whatever. And so that's kind of how it started. I was not making a lot as an intern. And I was like, okay, I'll start a little handyman like thing just to make, $300-400 extra on the weekends. Started the LLC. I was like, what should I call my LLC?
Yeah.
Well, my last
It's
name
always
is
the hardest.
Walters.
Yeah.
And I'm renovating. So Walters Renovations.
Heck yeah.
And
Super
that was how it like started. And I mean, it just slowly, we could get more into it, but it just slowly kind of built from there, from small projects to really like wanting to do more and more and really just build cooler stuff. Like I was just stoked on like, I wanted to build cool stuff. I liked like design, and I like stepping back and being like, yeah, that looks sick,
Did you keep that house, or did you guys end up renovating it? Did you sell it?
Yeah, we renovated it. A very like, dude, looking back, there's like a million things I could have done differently.
Yeah.
And like so many things that I spent way more time doing it the wrong way
Sure.
than it would have like taken, like knowing what I know now to do it the right way. But yeah, we still have it, and we just rent it to some GCU
Oh,
kids.
heck yeah.
I haven't been there in like probably 6 or 7 months. So yeah, it's nice. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
But get a little extra cash from that.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. Those houses over by GCU, it seems like a lot of people do that. Buy them, flip them, and rent them out straight to the GCU students. Seems like
dude.
a great gig.
It's a good model.
Yeah.
It's a good model. Not a lot of housing over there.
No, not at all. A little scary over there, but
Yeah, true.
perfect place for a skater house. Well, dude, where are you from? What was your childhood like? Do you have siblings?
Yeah.
You mentioned your dad. And
we'll run it. We'll run it back from the beginning. So I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, just outside of Kansas City, a town called Smithville. 5,000 people there at the time.
Oh, wow.
Now it's grown. I think there's 9,000 people in the town, and it was kind of a farm town, like sports with, football, like that. Everything was very big. There was like a classic, just American town. And it was interesting because a lot of people that I know that, you go to like elementary school and then you go to like a different middle school, meet new people. And then everybody's like, where are they going to go to high school? Like for me, it was just Smithville Elementary School, Smithville Middle School, Smithville High School. So I was with the same like 150, 170 or so people we had in our class from like kindergarten through graduating high school. So
that's actually really cool though, being able to see the people from super young all the way through high school.
Yeah, it was cool. You got to develop some like cool friendships. But then the flip side of that is like I was a squirrely kid and got into a lot of trouble. Just like, I don't know, looking back now, I feel like I was just like, under the LED lights, getting pounded by, just having to sit still and like I can't talk to any of my friends. Like I was just like that kind of kid that like got into a bunch of trouble. And I was just doing, out of just boredom, I think. I was getting into a lot of trouble. So then that's what sucked is like going into, all the teachers had a file, a stack this big of like, here's everything Trace has done bad ever. And so it would get passed down to every single teacher I had. So it was like
a warning.
Yeah, there was no like, I got plenty of opinions on that, but
that's hilarious.
But yeah, so I grew up, but honestly, my childhood was great. I grew up on like 50 acres, or it was like 38 acres. We had a big 5-acre pond. I would fish all the time. We had 4-wheelers.
Nice.
Like it was that kind of childhood growing up. And it's
the
funny.
Dream childhood, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because when I was like in it, I so badly just wanted to live in a neighborhood to like walk to my buddy's house and like knock on the door. But really I was in this like paradise of like for a kid to like just go and play and ride 4-wheelers and do whatever. So yeah, that's and what brought me to GCU was essentially my parents were like, look, if you have not you've not necessarily walked the straight line as far as like just me being in trouble and suspended all the time and grounded. And so if they were like, my parents said, if we're going to help you with college, paying for college, then you have to go to a private Christian school. And my brother, I have an older brother, Ty, he's 28 and he lives in Phoenix. He lives right down the road, like 3 minutes from here.
Oh, sweet.
And he went to ASU and he was the opposite of me. He was like, didn't get in trouble, like was a good kid. Like, yeah.
On the straight and narrow.
Yeah. Classic, like older brother, younger brothers, like wild. That was our story. And so I was like, well, my brother's already at ASU. What's the biggest Christian school in the country? Sure. Okay, it's GCU. Great, I'll go there. I did like one tour in the middle of summer. Nobody was there. I don't really remember anything about it. I didn't tour any other schools. I feel like it was a God thing. Like he was just leading me in that direction to where I'm at now and meeting my wife and all those things. So yeah,
it's funny that the kid on the straight and narrow goes to the biggest party school in the country, and the kid that's crazy goes to the Christian
it's
school.
Funny how that works out, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. So you mentioned wife. When did you get married?
Yeah, so Shane and I, my wife, I love her. She's the best. We met like the second day of GCU
Oh, heck
Welcome
yeah.
Week at this like 18 plus club that
Nice.
like a week later got flooded from a monsoon, never to reopen again. So
Oh,
it's
man.
like this marker of like this thing that used to be there. I don't even remember where it is. I think it was maybe Tempe. I don't know. When you first show up to a new city like Phoenix, like you don't know where you're at, where anything is. You just get in the Uber and transport to like somewhere.
Especially coming from a small town.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? This is crazy.
Yeah, it was very crazy. But I met her. She would say, I think I picked her out. She would say that she came up to me because I was the tallest in the crowd of like people.
The height always helps.
Yeah, and we just started dancing, hanging out, and then stayed up till like 3 a.m. that night, just talking, hanging out at the Grove.
Yeah,
Classic.
the Grove.
Classic Grove, GCU. And from there, I mean, went through the first semester hanging out, and then Valentine's Day of 2020, we started dating. I asked her to be my girlfriend, and then dated all through college, and proposed to her in like, gosh, I don't know exactly when. I should know that. There's a lot of dates.
Yeah,
I think it was like
dates.
September, like 2022, like right before we graduated. So then graduated college, went through the whole summer, and then we got married in October 2023. So now we're on like
a couple years,
2 years, 4 or 5 months.
Heck yeah.
Of marriage. Yeah.
That's awesome. Assuming no kids or kids in the picture, what's that look? You wanting kids?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we definitely want kids. Right now just our dog.
Yeah.
Just the mascot, Molto.
Yeah.
Who's on all the shirts and on all the van and everything.
And he comes to job sites too with you, doesn't he?
Dude. He's a good dog. He's like a hound dog, so it's like growing up I always had hound dogs, and they're very like, they just kind of want to lay in the sun.
Yeah.
On the porch, and someone's coming up the driveway, and they'll howl, and then they'll go back to sleep. That's how he's very chill. He likes the job site. He finds a nice spot in the sun and hangs out, dude. Everybody loves Malto for sure.
Malto, right?
Yeah, Malto.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for kind of telling a little background on where you're from and how you got started at GCU and your wife. And
that was it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's transition a little into work. I'm curious what the biggest challenge you face so far that people don't really see from the outside, now being in renovations, because you bought a house, flipped it, and that sparked your interest into going into this field. But a lot of people don't know what that field is like, especially from the outside. So what is one of those biggest challenges you face?
Dude, I feel like just with any business, nobody sees the first year and a half that it's literally just you and my wife like supporting me when I'm coming home super late, and then having to sit down and reconcile transactions in QuickBooks, and then send 1099. Like when you just have to do every single thing in the business, and trying to post on social media and get all the marketing and attention. Like there's just so many, like, to really try to grow a business, that first like year and a half, 2 years of just being solo is very hard. And then the challenges, I guess, just with construction is like, I didn't have experience, and my only experience was like, I was kind of good with tools, knew how to work stuff just from being a kid, building random crap. And then this house and YouTube, and like learning how to solder copper pipes for, plumbing, or do drain lines, or like all this stuff that I kind of learned to do myself first. And that's kind of what I thought the direction of the business. Like I was just going to be this handyman that kind of had, a route that I would take, one-man band. But after I was 22, and after like 8-9 months of like that, like hard physical labor, going to Home Depot at 5 a.m., spending an hour loading up 20 sheets of drywall, and like just doing like all that solo is just such a grind.
Yeah.
Dude. And And that's when I learned about what general contracting was, because I didn't know you could just like manage a project and like not have to do it, and like that people pay you to do that. I was like, I didn't even know that was like an industry, that was a thing, which is crazy because it's such like so many people, like that's such a common career path for people. And the fact that like I never learned that in school, I never learned that in college, like even just like what was out there, like I had to just stumble into like, oh, this is what a general contractor is.
Explain, because I still don't know fully what the scope of a general contractor is. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I always thought like you were out there doing the work and hands-on and stuff, and I'm sure you are, but you talk about general contractor being a management position, really, where so if you could explain kind of what a general contractor is and your biggest responsibility.
Yeah, we're basically, all the liability falls on us. And usually you hire a general contractor when you have a big project, right? You're gutting your house down to the studs, you're building a brand new house. Like we do a lot of casitas, so you're building a new ADU casita. And I kind of relate it to like a wedding coordinator. The wedding coordinator has catering, the event, like all the contracts, they do the timeline, like they stitch all the different vendors and people together to create this experience that is known as a wedding over 2-3 hours, 4 hours, however long a wedding is. And like, you know, to make it a success. And so general contractors are just doing that for construction. So we have to know the scope of the project based on the design, which we can get into that. But so once you know what the project actually is, it's like, okay, step one is we're going to need a demolition crew. So I'm going to contact my demo guy, or I'm going to grab 6 dudes from GCU and pay them $150, and we're going to go in and like demo this house. After that, I'm going to contract with the plumber, explain the scope, review the plans with them. They're going to come do all the plumbing in the walls, the electrician, then the drywall, then the flooring and bathrooms and tile, then cabinets, then like all of these different things have different companies or subcontractors that specialize in that one trade. And so it's our job to like vet, collect bids, make sure they're giving us a fair price that we're passing to the client, doing quality control, checking in on the job as it's progressing, and basically overseeing and putting everything together from start to finish. But then we still self-perform some stuff, because I'm like, I still get an itch. Like if I sit at the computer for too long, that's what's funny is like I got into this because I was tired of sitting at a computer, and now I like sit at a computer a ton. But yeah, it's I get the option to like choose what I want to like put the work in. Like we had this cool fireplace that we were doing that had all these little pop outs, and we're going to do micro cement on it. So I was like, dude, I want to do the framing on that. I want to make sure everything's like level and square and dialed, and like it'll take me a day. Yeah. And so we did, and I can do that because it's my freaking company. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah.
You mentioned that you learned a lot of stuff from YouTube. Were there other certifications you had to get, or courses or whatnot, to become a contractor, to start doing all of this?
No, and I don't know if I should see this online, but the general like the ROC, that's like the ROC, Registrar of Contractors. To be able to do projects over, I think it's $1,000.
Okay.
You have to have a general contractor's license.
Sure.
If you're building, renovating, doing any of that. And it's really more for the client, for the homeowner, to give them peace of mind that this person is registered, and that, we have to give them a 2-year workmanship warranty per the state statutes as a licensed contractor, be bonded, insured, and like all the things. So it's just like helps a client feel more comfortable that they're making a good decision. And when I did that, I was so stressed out because you had to take the trade exam, which I just did. I just studied the books. I mean, you had like 6 books that were this thick: International Building Code, Residential Code, like all this stuff. And I just studied a lot. And I was so stressed because there was like a 4-year experience like required. And I was like, shoot, I was like calling this guy that I did landscaping work for in high school. Like, hey, how long did I work? It was about a year,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, I think it's like 9 months. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was a year. Like, you know, like trying to stitch like enough
Totally.
verifiable experience.
Yeah.
Because I knew what I was doing. I was just like, I needed to like, whatever, pass this bureaucratic hurdle to get the license. And I go in to actually submit my application, and all it is a freaking checkbox that says, do you have 4 years qualified experience in a related field? And I was like, check yes.
Yeah.
And then that was it. It was like no reference. Like they didn't ask me. They didn't call anybody.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. ROC's kind of a joke. I have opinions on them too. But
But you're
yeah.
fully insured and everything too.
Yeah. Now we do everything by the book. But
yeah, that's awesome. But you gotta, what is the term? Fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
Something like that.
And I was definitely faking it.
I think,
but always doing a good job, like always trying to do the best I could.
For sure.
But I was faking it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's almost a piece of being successful in entrepreneurism is you gotta get there somehow. And sure, maybe not faking it all the time is the right way to go. But
yeah,
I mean, as long as you do a good job and you're insured and people trust you, then like an outcome is great.
Yeah. Trust is the biggest thing in our industry for sure. And
Absolutely.
it's like just say yes to everything in the beginning. Like
yeah.
It was like, it's like kind of how I got into landscaping. I was hanging some ceiling fans for a lady, and she was in one of those new build, communities where they just leave the backyard dirt. And she was like, I got a quote for $12,000 to do like turf and a walkway. And like my like ears literally probably like flapped or something. I was like, $12,000, like the biggest project I had done was like $600 to hang a couple ceiling fans. And I thought I was killing it. Because I was like, dude, that took me a day.
Yeah.
Like I just made $600. Like I'm literally gonna be a millionaire doing
this. Right.
And so she said 12 grand on the backyard. I was like, oh, I'll do it for 10 grand. Like easy. I'll do it for 9 grand. And then immediately like went home, and it was just straight up YouTube, how to run irrigation, like how to lay turf, how to install pavers, like what goes below it, like just like the practical thinking of like, okay, what's step 1, step 2. I straight up like wrote it out, like, and then did her backyard, and that's
that's so cool.
That's how I got into landscaping, because I was just doing like ceiling fans, hanging photos, TVs, like find the stud, drill some things, like,
any advice for people trying to get into your field? Because it sounds like YouTube really helped you. So for kids, trying to get into this, is it overwhelming from the beginning, or would you just say, just look, I made it through YouTube? Like, what is some of your advice on that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people say go work for somebody, basically, like go work under somebody and learn it. Which, if you're like coming out of high school, like you're not trying to go to college,
right,
for sure, just go get a job with the home builder as a runner. Like a runner, they all have like runners. They're like project management helpers, where it's like, hey, we need 10 2x4s and some nail plates to cover all the electrical stuff. Like, go get it from Home Depot.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of step 1. And you can find those jobs pretty easily by like firing off DMs to home builders, walking into offices. Like, if you're coming out of high school, for sure. I did not do that. And I was kind of stubborn in that. And I kept getting that advice from people when I was like trying to grow this. I was like, do you think I should like, I remember talking to a guy who was a general contractor for a few years and like having this conversation. He's like, yeah, dude, you just need to go work for somebody. And I like hated that advice.
Yeah.
I was like, forget that, dude. I do not want to go work for somebody. And that's like, I guess a little bit of the stubbornness and like overconfidence, which I feel like most guys that start businesses have. And that was kind of, I was just like, I'm not going to do that. And so I just kind of further like dug my heels into like, I'm just going to figure this out. But also having a project of your own that's like nobody's coming to the rescue. Like that's how it was with our house. It's
Yeah.
just like, I can't go hire I don't even know where you hire people. Like, I'm not going to go to Home Depot and like get these guys. Like, I
Yeah.
can't, they all speak Spanish. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. And it was all like, yeah. So I just kind of had this project of my own. And that is what taught me, I would say, like 70% of just speaking the language that is known as a home, you know, and how it works. And stripping the drywall off the walls and just seeing, oh, the pipe comes here and then it goes down. And then it's like, okay, that's the water. And just like, okay, the electrical, that wire goes from that little light and it runs over to the switch over here, you know, like just kind of stripping everything back and looking at the skeleton also on a house of my own, which was like a amazing opportunity to be able to learn. And it's like, once I got that far, then it's like, okay, YouTube the specifics. But it would be really hard to just like raw dog start a contracting business really without knowing anything and then just YouTubing it. So I feel like getting a project, like starting to do some
hands-on
stuff yourself. Like that's how you that's the fastest way to learn. That's how I did it. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how, like, growing up for me with mechanics and cars and stuff, my dad was a custom, like, classic car builder. And so, like, it's funny, he's passed now. And that's not funny, but it's funny how.
And then I laugh.
Yeah. You know, it's good to laugh about things like that, though. Now I'm like, oh, my gosh, I know all these simple things because of my dad, because my dad just told me to get my hands dirty and work on cars and stuff. But
like what does an alternator look like?
How does the battery in an alternator work?
Yeah.
Simple stuff. What's a project you've worked on that made you think, this is why I love doing this? This is why I'm in this field. Heck yeah, this is awesome. Can't wait.
Dude, I have a little bit different of a take on this. Because you would think, I don't know, I bet you would ask most people if they're in my position, it's like, oh, we had my first like $100,000 project or whatever, and I made a bunch of money, but it was not that. It was a project that was kind of built around the purpose of what we were doing. And I'm going to go on a tangent, but it'll get there. So on Grand Ave, when you're driving, like as you're going up to GCU, there's the Dream Center. Have you seen this like old hotel with
Is it
all
the one
these
with the
weird solar panel water heaters on the top?
I know. So what are those things? Sorry to interrupt.
There's solar panel water heaters that they don't use anymore. Like
I always thought that building was so weird.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of kind of history. Like it was an old Hilton hotel in the 70s. Like Grand used to be like the spot, from what I've like understood about Phoenix history in like 70s and 80s. Like Grand Ave was like new, popping off. They just sent that, like they had just built the road up to, you know, like Peoria area and everything. Yeah. And so it was like this new kind of highway connecting everything. So people were traveling it a lot. And this Hilton Hotel, which is now the Dream Center, I was doing a lot of work on the West Valley, so I would drive by this all the time, and going to GCU, and like would drive by this place all the time. That's just a weird building, you know, like just like you're like, and saw the sign Dream Center, looked it up. It turns out they're like, they basically help homeless ex-addicts, women or men who have been human traffic victims. They basically, it's a faith-based organization.
Right on.
Started by Dream City Church, and that's what they do. It's just a bunch of rooms like for these people to, you know, kind of restore themselves, restore their soul. They have classes that they take them through. They have mandatory Bible studies and chapel for everybody that runs through there. They give them all meals. And so when I looked this up, I was like, oh, that's cool. And that was kind of it. Kept driving by, and it was one of those things like God was like pulling me to this place. And finally, after, it's not like I obeyed immediately. Like I just kept, for months, I just kept cruising by. I remember talking to a buddy, and I was like, yeah, dude, this Dream Center place, like I feel like I should go in there. And he's like, yeah, you should just go in there.
Totally.
And then I didn't. And he calls me a few months later. We're talking. He's like, yeah, did you ever go into the Dream Center? I'm like, no, dude, I did. I still got to do that. He's like, yeah, you got to do that. Like, you told me about it. And so I finally like pull into the parking lot. I like pray before I go in there.
Heck
Like,
yeah.
like, Lord, lead me in the right, you know, whatever's going to happen. I thought this like instant, like as soon as I walked in, I was just like, hey, this is an old building. I feel like maybe I could, you know, help them with maintenance or like whatever, like just a little way to volunteer. And I thought as soon as I walked in, it was going to be like, I was going to find the right person. They're going to be like, Lord, like you just gave us this, brought this kid here to, you know, help us out. And we've desperately needed it. Was not like that at all. It was very like, I went to the front desk and they like told me to fill something out online. I was like, okay, dang it. It was not what I thought it was going to be. So I did that. And because the victims there are like so, you know, it's like a very touchy and they try to be very protective of those that are there. Cause it's just, yeah, it's crazy. A lot of them and like the homeless would be involved in gangs. And like, so it's like, they're just very protective of everybody that's there. And so I had to go through like a tour. Every volunteer has to go through like a tour, which they only do like once a month. And so I had to wait for that.
Oh, wow.
And I think I was even out of town in the first one. So I had to wait. So I had to wait another month and do a background check and like all these things. And I finally just like trying to be consistent and like obey the Lord, finally get to this final thing where I'm like, okay, ready to be a volunteer. And I was talking to the lady who was doing the tour, and she said, and I was like, yeah, I'm a contractor, you know, like, do you guys ever need help with whatever, maintenance or like fixing up any of these old rooms or like whatever? And it was in the dead of summer, and she's like, yeah, our, you know, the air conditioners keep going out, like the breakers keep tripping, like this kind of stuff. And then this guy walks by. She's like, oh, there's Greg. He's our facilities guy. Like, Greg, this is Trace. And then that was that moment that I thought was going to happen as soon as I walked in the first time. And he was like, and I told him what I did. He was like, no way. Like, you're a contractor? Like, Trace, like you're, and he immediately pulled me and was like, this room isn't working. We can't, and you know, the air conditioner shut off for like our hospital wing where the women who come in and are, you know, or ODs or like all this stuff. And I just with like a basic little voltage tester walked around. I really feel, because I don't know commercial electrical. Like I know how electrical works, but, and I just kind of practical thinking, like traced things back, found the breakers that were tripped, unlocked stuff that was outside, and like got everything back up and running.
Nice.
In a matter of like 30 minutes. Like, I think the Lord was like, yeah, just showing me like, hey, your persistence and me calling you here was like even leading to just this one moment, getting the air conditioning back on when it's 110 out. And yeah. And so I did that, and then Greg walks me into the center where they used to have continental breakfast. It's like a big square courtyard. It's like 4 stories, the hotel rooms. And then in the courtyard is like where they had continental breakfast. And it was just, he opens the doors and it's like, this place is gutted down to the studs. Like,
oh, whoa.
And I was like, what's going on in here? And he's like, well, we have the money, we have the plans, we have the permit to build this out as a daycare, because a lot of the women that get trafficked or the homeless women have kids, and they're trying to go through these classes, get their GED, and they got 3 like little kids like running around. They have nowhere for these kids to go. And he's like, we want to build this daycare for these kids to like, you know, to be where we can watch them. So their mom, their dad, usually the mom, can, you know, restore, you know, start to build back into society.
Her life, yeah.
And he was like, but it's been at a screeching halt for like 5 years. 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Because the ceiling was so unlevel.
Yeah.
The framers didn't want to come in and do the metal studs for the walls. The drywallers didn't want to lay the drywall because in some areas it was like an inch out with dips and just like old building, heavy roof, sagging. So he's like, we need somebody to come in and just frame an entire new ceiling. And I was like, I can do that.
Heck yeah.
And for about a week, I went in there. I was like, I'll do it for free. Like, I was leaving like the week after. It was like spring break, or we were going home. Me and my wife were going home for summer break or something. I was like, I'll do it for free. I can come in here. I have nothing else planned. Like, I was looking for work anyway. I'm still a one-man band. And so I go in and I frame this entire ceiling with the help of another buddy. And I'm posting on Instagram about this place that I found and what I'm doing. And crazy how God works. Another guy, Brennan with Valley Construction, who would be a great guest on your podcast. I can connect you guys. But
yeah, totally.
He slides up and he's like, dude, no way. I was incarcerated, and 10 years ago, I went through the Dream Center. Wow. And now he's a contractor, does all our framing and roofing and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, well, I need help. You got a nail gun and want to come like get down with me and knock this stuff out? And so he, like, 2 or 3 of the 5 days that I was there, like, he pulled up. We were jamming music. There was other guys that were like staying there that had been homeless or ex-addicts that were helping us. And it was like it was just awesome. Like, I felt the Lord there.
That's cool.
And I remember getting to the end of it. We had completed it. I walked it with the facilities guy. We ran the laser level. Like, everything is freaking level and like ready. And me and this guy literally both just sat there and cried and hugged like 2 grown men. Because it was like, dude, the Lord, like, this thing had been at a halt and the Lord had been tugging me to this place. And I finally, like, begrudgingly a little bit, like, went in there and did it, like, got them to this place. And then just a few months ago, I went back. That was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now, year and a half probably. And a couple months ago, I went back and they finished it.
That's
and
so
it's
cool.
like they brought everybody else in, and that is the project that sticks out the most.
Heck
Long-winded.
dude.
But you asked me that, I was like, okay, I could say.
A light bulb went off, and what is it called? Dream City?
Dream City Church
Okay.
is the church, kind of a mega church. I've never been there. And then the Dream Center is what this place is called on Grand Ave. And we're actually now, through the Jesus Was a Builder stuff, trying to then, now they want to do a playground and redo the courtyard, because every time I'm there, there's people reading their Bible and it's just like concrete and rock, and there's no trees, and there's no, like, it's not a place where you can feel like you're getting, can connect with God. Like, I'm sure like God is definitely there, and it is, but having life and grass and trees and things around is just like helps. It's like rehab in a way, you want to restore. That's why people go to Hawaii for rehab, because it's like just so beautiful. You feel like you're in heaven. And that's what I want for that place. And so I went back there, and we're in the works right now of designing their new courtyard, and going to try to help raise money and stuff once we have the design done and everything, kind of buttoned up on what we want to do, how much it's going to cost, and things like that. So
where are you raising money through? Just for people that are watching, if they feel called to donate or help in any way?
Just follow the Jesus Was a Builder Instagram.
Okay.
We haven't.
Jesus Was a Builder.
Yeah, Jesus Was a Builder, or JesusWasABuilder.org is the website. And we're still working. Like, I'm trying to build that to be kind of a nonprofit arm of
that's awesome.
Walters Renovations, to do projects exactly like that, like for the Dream Center and for a purpose. Because as I've been going through construction, I'm like, okay, I see these huge home builders that are doing $12 million homes, and it's like everything's custom, everything's imported from freaking Italy or like whatever. And for a while I was like, that's what I want to, like, that's I just wish I could be doing those projects, but then you get there,
super impactful.
You get there and you're not, you're just kind of building stuff for like really rich people who you never see. You're dealing with their like house assistant, whatever. I'm like, that's not the end goal. Like, the end goal should be doing projects that are fulfilling, like the one I explained earlier, like coming in and framing the ceiling to then be a daycare, like to get the ball back rolling on this daycare for people who God has, called us to serve and to pay attention to, the orphan and the widow. Yeah. And that's what I really want to push into this next year and the years to come is like more purpose-driven projects. So I feel like that's where the fulfillment is the most satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. JesusWasAbuilder.org,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right, check it out, guys.
Yeah.
We don't have too much time left, but there are a couple more questions I do want to ask. And thank you so much for elaborating on all these questions, because the more info, the better. And like, this has been awesome to
dude, of
spend
course.
time with you. Outside of work, what do you genuinely enjoy doing for fun? I know you're a skater, kind of to reset, because we have to have a work-life balance. But as entrepreneurs, work kind of is our fun and our hobby.
Yeah.
And so, and for you, and we do have to keep these a little short because I'm.
Yeah, I'll rip it quick.
Yeah,
I play a lot of golf.
Golf, okay.
Golf is like, when I'm trying to like, let me just focus on this ball and hitting it as opposed to like all the estimates and calls I have to do. So I play a lot of golf, and I'm blessed with like, I get to make my own schedule.
Yeah.
So I can go in the morning 4 hours and get to work at 11, and it's like nobody's gonna fire me for it.
Yeah.
Like I can build my schedule around it. So I golf a lot, and skate. I was not skating a lot because it was like that got shoved to the side, but now I'm skating more. And those are the two things, hobbies, spending time with my wife.
Yeah. I know you guys have recently gone on some really cool trips. And
yeah, dude. Yeah, I love to travel. I know you love to travel. Yeah. I'm trying to get your Amex points hacks to be able to travel more. This guy knows everything about Amex points.
Yeah, you got to save the points, guys.
Yeah. So, that's hobbies.
We'll have to go golf sometime.
Yeah.
I'll end on one last question. So if someone met you 5 years from now, and you've already done so much in the past couple of years, what do you hope they'd say you built both personally and professionally?
Ooh, personally, I feel like I'm working on building a team now, because we have 4 employees, and Wyatt, we're like kind of partners, sales. He's 1099, I guess. And so like building the team and just refining our customer experience. Like I think that's what the advice I've always gotten in business is like, how can you make a better and better product for cheaper and cheaper? And so that is what like this year and the years to come, I want to focus on. And then like we talked about with Jesus Was a Builder is like 5 years from now, I would hope people would say like, man, this guy has really stuck his neck out, marketed, helped raise money for these people, these places, foster homes, the Dream Center, to be able to fix up, bring life back into it with the skills that we've acquired through construction. And like he is focusing on these people, the marginalized, like the lowly. That's what Jesus describes himself as, 2 things, as gentle and lowly. So I would say 5 years from now, I would hope people describe me that way.
Well, I think you're definitely on that path, dude. This has been kind of a really, really cool journey you've been on that I've been able to watch vicariously through friends, through Instagram, and then also just seeing you pretty often. So I genuinely thank you for your time today. Thank you for inviting us into this space, and can't wait to see what the future has for you and what God does through you. And
dude, likewise. It's been sick watching you grow, you and Mike. Yeah. And everything that you guys are building. And dude, it's just dope seeing other guys that are young and hungry and love the Lord and try to build a business that's, pleasing to customers, but pleasing to him as well. So let's keep doing it, bro.
Heck yeah, bro. Well, again, thank you. And to anyone watching, if you haven't, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow along at JesusWasAbuilder.org. And then also, what is it? Trace Walters Renovations. Instagram?
Trace.Walters, Walters.Renovations, and Jesus Was a Builder. Those are our 3 accounts.
I love it. It really helps us grow and keep bringing on great guests like Trace, and then also projects to come for him and his nonprofit. And if you're in Arizona and need window cleaning or power washing, check out Canyon Cleaning Solutions.
This guy right here.
We'd love to help you out. And until next time, this has been Through the Glass.
Through the Glass.
Through the Glass.